Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Mr Deputy Speaker, the amendments in question were announced by the Minister acting for the Minister in the other place without any discussion with the Labor Party. We were able to negotiate for us to be able to have some time to look at those amendments, which we have subsequently done, and I recognise that we were given that flexibility. I have very closely looked at the amendments, and I have consulted with the appropriate people within my party on the amendments, and we are not going to be accepting any of the amendments. The three amendments are not acceptable to the Labor Party.
I thank the member for Barton.
I have some further comments to make.
Member for Barton, continuation.
As I have made clear to the House, Labor does not support this bill in its current form, and we do not support compulsory income management being forced on whole groups of Territorians simply because of where they live, who they are, or what payment they are on. 12 years after the intervention in the Northern Territory, it is absolutely clear that compulsory broad-based income management in the Northern Territory has not worked. It has, however, marginalised, stigmatised and made everyday life much, much harder. It has not improved the lives and circumstances of First Nations people. This cashless debit card proposal is discriminatory. It goes against the evidence, and it is wrong to force it on so many Territory communities who have clearly said they do not want it. And that is why we will be opposing the amendments. In a media release on the 25th of March this year, the former Social Services Minister, the member for Bradfield, said about the government's plan for the cashless debit card in the Northern Territory. She said this: "For existing participants on income management and Basics card program, there will be no change to the operating principles, including the percentage to be quarantined, which will remain at 50%. Now, that's a very, very definite statement by the Minister. Well, let's see what's happened. Well, we know that this is not what the government really wants, and these amendments today prove it. They are the first step in a plan to quarantine 80% of payments in the Northern Territory, making it harder for people to buy food and second-hand goods in remote communities. The cashless debit card restricts 80% of a person's income everywhere else. It is only a matter of time before the government uses these amendments to snatch 80% of people's benefits in the Territory as well. If the government was serious about keeping the quarantine rate at 50%, that is what the amendment would say. But instead, the secret plan they've had all along is now in black and white. And we also see amendments in relation to aged pensioners. Let me be clear. If the government was really serious about not putting Territory pensioners or other people who manage their money well, have never taken drugs, who deserve to be treated with respect, onto the cashless debit card, they would withdraw the bill altogether. What communities in the Northern Territory need is access to more jobs and economic development opportunities, access to clean water and secure food supplies, and better health and education services. I recently met with the emergency relief providers in Darwin, who said that punitive social security breaching practices of this government were forcing people in remote areas to give up and stop claiming social security. This is trapping whole communities into poverty, and there are stories of food being so short that people are forced by the system to lock themselves in their bedrooms to eat. And this is wrong. It should not be happening in Australia. And there is so much the Parliament could do to fix it. But this bill and these three amendments are not the solution. And these amendments are not the solution. This bill will only make matters worse.